Okay, let's get started. Step 1, use a primer. If you don't use a primer, your eyeshadow is gonna crease throughout the day and it's not gonna last and it's not gonna look good. On top of that, the color that you put on, it's not gonna be true to color. So if you don't have a primer and you're not in a place where you wanna go and get one, I suggest at least using your favorite concealer. Okay, we are nice and primed. Step 2, you want to set that with a powder. If you don't, then the brown that you're gonna use or the transition color you're gonna use, it's gonna be a little bit blotchy, and we wanna make sure we always have a very smooth transition. Use a nice fluffy brush, something that is not super condensed and super tight, but is going to be able to blend it really nicely. So I'm just gonna do the light color all over my eyelid. So the next step is the very most important step. It's called the transition. And it doesn't matter what color you want to do. If you're doing purples or blues or crazy or anything like that, you have to have a transition color. All right, you don't have to. I'm not the boss of you, but it's going to make your life so much easier and it only takes a second. So what you want to do is you want to find a color that's just like a shade or two darker than your natural color, and that's what we're going to put into the crease first. This is the color I am using. Nice fluffy brush. It's not too big, but it is going to help us get into that crease and buff it out just fine. You want to use back and forth motions and circular motions. Do not be too heavy-handed. That is where you're going to run into problems. It's too hard on the eye. It's not going to feel good, and it's going to ruin your brush and your look. So you can see it's not that much of a difference, but it's going to be difference enough to make everything else blend beautifully. If you notice, I am going a little bit above the crease, not all the way to my brow bone, but a little bit above. Again, it's a transition color. It's going to help transition everything without any line of demarcation. So the next step after that is we want to take a little bit darker color. This is where you can decide what you want to do. Up until now, I've used all colors that are matte, no shimmer whatsoever. If you at this point want to add shimmer, you can. I'm going to go ahead and use another matte color and because I just want to really define my crease a little bit more, because right now there's still not a ton of definition just with that transition color. Do not forget, when you put your brush into the eyeshadow, you are going to have some excess on the brush, so make sure to flick it off. You're going to use small, short strokes. If you start going crazy, product is gonna get everywhere and you're not gonna be staying in that crease. If you wanna get more of a defined crease, you can use a smaller brush. I suggest a little fluffier of a brush, and we are going to blend this line right here to make sure there are no lines. Okay, so from there, again, this is where you get to decide if you want to keep it matte or if you want to do something shiny and sparkly. I want to do something shiny and sparkly. You can do any color. I want to do something glittery. I'm going to use my finger. Then go back with one of your brushes and blend. I cannot stress enough, and I see a lot of people doing this, and it can age you instantly. We don't want any eyeshadow coming underneath there because it can pull your eyes down. And we don't want that. We want everything up and lift. If you look at the natural shape of your eye, you want to follow the natural curvature of the underneath eye and where it's going to. So we want rid of from here down. So here's an incredible trick that I love. You can get super cheap makeup remover wipes. I mean, these are Equate brand, no big deal. To wrap it around your finger here, and very, very gently, we are going to follow the natural curvature of the eye and remove anything that may have come underneath that, and it's going to instantly lift your eye and make you look younger and more awake and all that good stuff. you are not an eyeliner person, then this is my next favorite thing to do. You're gonna use an eyeshadow. You can use any color you want. You can use brown, you can use black. I recommend staying with those two when it comes to eyeliner if you're doing more of a just everyday type of look. So I am going to use no shimmer, matte black eyeshadow. You're going to take an angled brush with your product and just push it into the lining of your eyelash. This is going to give you a natural lash enhancement without having to use a ton of product. Small angle brush, get right into the lash line. Okay, we're doing a natural lash enhancement there. At the very end, I am going to flick it up a little, not necessarily a winged liner, but again, we want everything to be lifted and nothing drooping. So not everyone has almond eyes, like these beautiful lifted, and that's okay. But we want everything to be a little bit lifted. So if everyone follows the perfect natural curvature of their eye, a lot of times at the end, it's gonna come down, again, kind of aging and pulling everything down. So at the very, very end, you wanna kind of flick it upwards. Just a little bit. So you can wait until after the eyeliner is done to use the swipe trick. And if anything has fallen, again, this is a great way with eyeliner. A lot of people, it gets kind of messy out here and it's frustrating. Take that wipe. And it's going to make your eyeliner look amazing. So what I would suggest doing also is tight lining. What that means is you have this part underneath right where the lashes are. If you have a gap between the eyeliner and lashes, and then there's kind of this red part that doesn't have any eyeliner on it, and then your eye, it looks very disconnected. You're gonna take the same eyeshadow and you are going to just get this inner corner. If you wanna get all the way underneath, you're kind of freaked out about it, and it can be a little bit scary, you're going to lift your eye and you're going to shut it. So it's a very easy way to get the impact of a heavy eyeliner that gives us that really awake, defined look without using too much and without it being too much. At this point, if it is too much for you, kind of what I said before, take that trusty eyeshadow brush, kind of smoke it out a little bit, and you're good to go. So what I'm going to do is the color I used as my transition color, I'm actually going to put underneath my eye. It is up to you at this point if you want to use like a black eyeliner on your wet line to define it a little bit more. I suggest this for people who have bigger eyes. I have really big eyes, and so it's okay because it is going to make your eyes look a little bit smaller. If you do have smaller eyes, you can use like a cream colored or a white on this wet line. And when I mean wet line, I mean this area right here. And if you use a cream or a white, it's really gonna brighten those eyes and make them look bigger. And so do that. And then, I mean, it's really easy to do. I will do the black. I will show you what I mean. You're gonna look up, don't pull super tight. Again, the skin around our eyes is so sensitive. We don't wanna be breaking any capillaries or making ourselves age faster than we have to. So you're just very gently gonna pull down. So next I'm gonna take that transition color that we used beforehand, and I'm going to be using a really small, more condensed brush that's going to give me, it's going to allow me to work in that smaller area. I'm gonna look up, and all I'm gonna do is just do that bottom rim just to transition everything and to blend everything together. The other reason we want to put an eyeshadow underneath. So if you don't want a lot of color, use something very close to your skin tone. You can even use your powder that you're setting with to do it. But the reason why we want to use powder is if you're using a liner underneath, a lot of times that liner is going to kind of start moving throughout the day. And so if you put powder there, it's kind of like a sandbag in a flood. It's going to help everything stay in put And that is what we need. Makeup lasting all day long. Also, if you notice, I'm going to be putting everything, I'm drawing everything in the upwards motion, especially when I get to this part of my eye. And draw up. Okay, you guys, as far as eyeshadow goes, that's it. If you have any questions or if you want to see other looks or if this didn't explain it quite good enough and you have more questions, make sure you subscribe below, write in the comments section, let me know. I'll answer them. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, guys.